Welcome, paranormal enthusiasts. Today, we're embarking on a chilling journey to uncover the mysteries behind the 10 most haunted places in America. Get ready for a spine-tingling experience as we delve into the ghostly history that lurks within these ominous locations. Our first stop is the infamous Stanley Hotel, inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining. One chilling night at the Stanley Hotel, a couple decided to stay in room 217, known for its paranormal activity. As they settled in, they heard faint whispers and the creaking of the furniture, but brushed it off as part of the hotel's mystique. In the dead of night, the temperature in the room plummeted, and the couple felt an unexplainable presence. Suddenly, the bathroom door swung open, revealing a shadowy figure standing in the doorway. Frozen in fear, they watched as the apparition slowly dissipated into the darkness. Terrified, the couple reported their encounter to the hotel staff, who shared that numerous guests had experienced similar occurrences in room 217. Some even claimed to have seen the apparition of a maid who once worked in the hotel. To this day, visitors to the Stanley Hotel continue to share their spine-chilling encounters, adding to the mystique that shrouds this haunted establishment. Room 217 remains a hotbed of paranormal activity, where the veil between the living and the supernatural seems to thin, allowing ghostly apparitions to make their presence known. Our next story comes from the dark halls of Eastern State Penitentiary, once home to notorious criminals. A group of paranormal investigators embarked on a ghost-hunting expedition. As they explored the desolate cell blocks, they entered cell block 12, notorious for its unsettling energy and reported hauntings. As the investigators delved deeper into the cold, dimly lit corridors, they suddenly heard inexplicable whispers and the distant clinking of chains. Unnerved but determined, they pressed on, their flashlights flickering as if responding to unseen forces. In cell 12, one investigator felt an unexplained chill and claimed to witness a shadowy figure moving along the corridor. As they tried to communicate with any lingering spirits, an unsettling silence enveloped the area. Then, mysteriously, their flashlights got their batteries drained, plunging them into complete darkness. In the blackened cell block, they reported feeling an otherworldly presence, as if unseen eyes were watching their every move. As the investigators hurriedly made their way back to the entrance, they captured unexplained orbs and strange electronic disturbances on their equipment. The chilling encounter left them convinced that Eastern State Penitentiary held echoes of its dark past, with the spirits of former inmates lingering within the cold stone walls, reaching out from the shadows to make their presence known. Now, let's travel to the Myrtles Plantation, where history and hauntings collide. A guest staying overnight reported a spine-chilling encounter. This visitor, unaware of the plantation's haunted reputation, checked into the antebellum mansion seeking a peaceful retreat. Late at night, as the guests settled into the canopy bed in one of the historic rooms, they suddenly awoke to the sensation of a cold hand brushing against their cheek. Startled, they opened their eyes to find a misty figure standing at the foot of the bed, dressed in clothing reminiscent of the 19th century. Frozen in fear, the guest watched as the ghostly apparition seemed to drift towards a mirror in the room, gazing at its own reflection. The figure's face, though translucent, bore an expression of deep sorrow and longing. Unable to comprehend the spectral encounter, the guest fled the room and sought out the staff. When describing the apparition, they were shown a photograph of a woman who matched the ghostly figure's appearance. It turned out to be Chloe, a former slave on the plantation, who had met a tragic end. This encounter left the guest deeply unsettled and added another chapter to the long history of paranormal activity at the Myrtles Plantation, where the spirits of the past continue to make their presence felt in mysterious and unsettling ways. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a place steeped in tragedy and suffering. A paranormal investigator had a chilling encounter during a late-night exploration. Armed with cameras and recording equipment, the investigator ventured into the darkened corridors, drawn to the notorious room 502. As they entered the room, a sudden drop in temperature sent shivers down their spine. The investigator began asking questions in an attempt to communicate with any lingering spirits. To their surprise, the room seemed to respond with unexplained knocks and mysterious footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Suddenly, the investigator felt an unseen force brush against them, as if an ethereal presence was trying to make contact. Startled but determined, they continued their investigation, capturing eerie EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, that seemed to whisper messages from the other side. The investigator also reported witnessing shadowy figures moving in and out of doorways, their forms flickering in the dim light. Overwhelmed by the intensity of the paranormal activity, they retreated from room 502, convinced that Waverly Hills Sanatorium held the lingering spirits of those who had suffered during its years as a tuberculosis hospital. This encounter is just one of many reported at Waverly Hills, adding to the haunted reputation of this historic sanatorium where the echoes of the past continue to resonate. Set sail with us to the Queen Mary, a majestic ocean liner with a haunted past. On the legendary Queen Mary, docked in Long Beach, California, a security guard had a haunting experience that left a lasting impression. During a routine patrol late at night, the guard entered the dark and empty engine room, an area known for its paranormal activity. As the guard made their way through the vast machinery, they heard the distinct sound of footsteps echoing around them. Assuming it was another staff member, they called out, but there was no response. The footsteps persisted, growing louder and seemingly coming from all directions. Suddenly, the guard felt an icy breeze and the temperature in the engine room dropped dramatically. At that moment, the guard witnessed the unmistakable figure of a uniformed ship crew member walking among the machinery. Shocked, the guard watched as the apparition passed through a solid door without a trace. Overwhelmed by the encounter, the guard reported the ghostly sighting to their colleagues and learned that others had experienced similar phenomena in the same area. The ghostly presence in the engine room added to the numerous reported hauntings on the Queen Mary, reinforcing its reputation as one of the most haunted ships in the world, where the spirits of the past seem to continue their mysterious journeys. In St. Louis, the Lemp Mansion stands as a testament to tragedy. Some guests had a terrifying encounter that added to the mansion's haunted lore. The guest, unaware of the mansion's tragic history, booked a stay in one of the opulent rooms. Late at night, as the guest was drifting into sleep, they were abruptly awakened by the sound of footsteps in the hallway outside their room. Assuming it was another guest or a member of the staff, they opened the door to find no one in the dimly lit corridor. Curious but unsettled, the guests decided to explore the mansion. As they descended the grand staircase, they reported hearing faint whispers and catching glimpses of shadowy figures. The atmosphere grew colder, and an unexplained heaviness settled in the air. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs, the guest encountered a figure in outdated clothing, a spectral manifestation that seemed to materialize briefly before dissipating. Shocked, the guest realized they had likely witnessed one of the rumored ghosts haunting the Lemp Mansion. Later, when the guests shared their experience with the staff, they were informed that the mansion was infamous for its tragic history, including suicides and mysterious deaths within the Lemp family. The encounter left the guest with a lingering sense of awe and an enduring belief in the supernatural tales that surround the haunted Lemp Mansion. In the historic town of Salem, Massachusetts, known for its dark history of witch trials, a group of friends had an eerie encounter while exploring the witch trials memorial one foggy night. Unfazed by the mist that clung to the tombstones, they approached the memorial dedicated to the victims of the infamous trials. As they read the names etched in stone, a sudden drop in temperature sent a chill through the air. The friends noticed an inexplicable flickering of the candles left as tributes, as if an unseen presence was among them. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, they decided to conduct a makeshift seance, attempting to communicate with the spirits of those wronged during the trials. To their surprise, the atmosphere grew even more charged. Unexplained shadows danced among the tombstones, and the friends reported hearing soft whispers carried by the wind. Suddenly, the candles flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows on the memorial. A feeling of heaviness enveloped the group, as if the spirits of the accused were trying to convey their untold stories. As quickly as it began, the paranormal activity ceased. The friends left the memorial with a newfound respect for the lingering energy in Salem, and a deep sense that the historical injustices of the witch trials still resonated in the quiet corners of this bewitched town. Alcatraz Island, once home to some of America's most notorious criminals, a park ranger experienced a chilling encounter that added to the island's reputation for paranormal activity. During the routine closing procedures one evening, the ranger was securing the cell blocks when they heard unexplained clanging noises echoing through the empty corridors. Assuming it was a maintenance issue, the ranger investigated the source of the sounds, only to find no logical explanation. As they continued their rounds, the eerie clanking persisted, seemingly following them through the desolate cell blocks. Suddenly, the temperature dropped noticeably, and the ranger felt an unexplained gust of cold air. They reported feeling an unseen presence, as if someone or something was watching them. The ranger, now on edge, hurriedly completed their duties, but the unexplained noises and unsettling atmosphere lingered. Later, when the ranger shared their experience with colleagues, they learned that other staff members had encountered similar phenomena on Alcatraz. Some claimed to have heard phantom footsteps or witnessed apparitions in the abandoned prison cells, adding to the island's mystique as a place where the echoes of its haunting past persist beyond the confines of time. Nestled in the Ozark Mountains, the Crescent Hotel hides a dark past. A guest felt an unseen presence lingering beside them in one of the rooms. To their astonishment, the figure of a woman materialized at the foot of the bed. Dressed in clothing reminiscent of the early 20th century, the ghostly apparition seemed to emanate both sadness and curiosity. The guest, paralyzed with fear, watched as the specter slowly moved around the room, as if retracing steps from a bygone era. As quickly as it appeared, the apparition faded away, leaving the guest in a state of shock. Upon sharing their encounter with hotel staff, they were informed that the Crescent Hotel had a long history of paranormal activity, with reports of ghostly sightings and unexplained phenomena dating back to its origins as a hospital. The guests' encounter became another haunting tale in the rich tapestry of the Crescent Hotel's history, where the spirits of the past continue to make their presence known to those who dare to spend a night within its haunted walls. Our final destination is the Bell Witch Cave, a place steeped in folklore and terror. The Bell Witch haunting, which occurred in the early 19th century, is one of the most famous ghost stories in American history. The Bell family, particularly John Bell and his daughter Betsy, were the primary targets of the supernatural events. The haunting began with strange noises, knocking on the doors, walls, and windows, escalating to chains dragging along the floors. The Bells soon found themselves tormented by the unseen entity, experiencing hair pulling, pinching, and strange physical ailments. Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, became the main focus of the spirit's attention. She endured physical attacks, and her bed covers were often yanked off during the night. The entity, which identified itself as the Bell Witch, seemed to have a particular disdain for John Bell. blaming him for various misdeeds. As the haunting intensified, the Bell family sought help from their neighbors and even religious leaders. The spirit, however, continued its malevolent activities, displaying a deep knowledge of the family's secrets and often engaging in conversations with those present. John Bell eventually succumbed to the torment, and the entity claimed responsibility for his death. Even after his passing, the Bell Witch continued to interact with the family for years, gradually fading away. The legend of the Bell Witch haunting at the Bell family farm remains a cornerstone of American folklore, showcasing the mysterious and unsettling nature of supernatural encounters. That concludes our journey through the 10 most haunted places in America. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, these chilling stories will leave you questioning the line between the living and the dead. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for our next mind-bending journey. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the unexplained.